Hello dear students, welcome to the lecture series on microelectronics. Today we are going to start with lecture number 23A. These are the following contents that we are going to cover up in this today's lecture, that is understanding of common gate amplifier configuration, calculating the voltage and current gain of common gate amplifier configuration, and finally we are going to see how common gate amplifier behaves as a unity gain current amplifier. Now once students understand these concepts, they will be in a position to understand the entire common gate amplifier configuration in terms of voltage gain, current gain, input and output resistances thoroughly. Now these are the topics that we covered in the previous lecture. We did a small derivation about common source amplifier with source resistance in terms of its input resistance, output resistance, voltage gain with and without load, and overall voltage gain, and we did a small justification in terms of its performance by solving a small numerical example with respect to common source amplifier configuration. Now this is the common gate amplifier configuration that you can see on the screen. We have the gate terminal being grounded and the input is applied to the source terminal and output is taken from the drain terminal. Remember, in the previous two lectures we discussed how do I name the different amplifiers, in the sense which terminal should I consider as the input and which terminal should I consider as output. So that we discussed in about two lectures before. Now I'll just going to remind how do I choose which terminal will be acting as input and which terminal will be acting as output. Now when I say any particular amplifier configuration, let's say for example common gate amplifier, definitely when I say common, this also indicates grounded. So which means this configuration can be named as grounded gate configuration. So that means the gate terminal here will be grounded. Once one of the terminal is grounded, there are only two terminals remaining. The one is the source terminal, the other is drain terminal, out of which the source terminal which I am going to give as a first priority, and I am going to consider that terminal as the input terminal, and the remaining third terminal which will be my drain terminal, that will be acting as my output terminal. And one more thing, when I say grounded gate or common gate configuration, which means the gate terminal is common to both input side as well as output side, which means this gate terminal which is connected to ground, which is common to the entire input section, and this ground terminal which is connected to the gate is common to the output side also. So that also summarizes why do I call the name common gate or grounded gate configuration. Now this is a small equivalent circuits that I have drawn when I talk about the analysis of any particular amplifier configuration. So here I have drawn the DC equivalent circuit of common gate amplifier, and here is the AC equivalent of common gate amplifier configuration. Now remember, we discussed long back how do I draw the equivalent circuits of different amplifier configurations. Now you can see here, when I talk about DC equivalent circuit or DC equivalent circuit of a common gate amplifier configuration, here what I will be doing, I will be grounding all the AC sources, and I am opening up, or I am making the capacitors as the open circuits. Since capacitors block DC, so I have to make that arrangement. So by doing that arrangement, whatever the things that remain in the circuit, that configuration I can call that, or that particular circuit I can call it as a DC equivalent circuit. Now when it comes to AC equivalent circuit, here I will be doing two major things. One is I will be grounding all the DC sources. I'm nullifying all the DC sources, and then I am shorting all the capacitances. So by doing all those things, whatever the things that remain in the entire circuit, that will make my circuit look like an AC equivalent circuit. Remember, these two are very important, particularly AC equivalent circuit, because when we deal with the amplifiers, in the amplifiers normally it is the AC signal that we are going to amplify. Hence remembering or drawing an AC equivalent circuit for a particular circuit will be of utmost priority. Now once I start doing the analysis of common gate amplifier configuration, or basically any amplifier configuration, the first thing that we are supposed to do is to replace that MOSFET with its equivalent circuit. Now in order to replace that MOSFET with its equivalent circuit, that is its small signal equivalent circuit, we can either choose this particular circuit, which is basically the small signal equivalent circuit, or the one more variant of this small signal model, which is my T equivalent circuit. So I can use either of them and replace this MOSFET with either of them. Now here in this particular configuration, I am going to replace this MOSFET with T equivalent circuit for a mere reason that this particular configuration or this particular equivalent circuit will make my analysis much simpler. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to consider the AC equivalent circuit of the common gate amplifier, which is over here. In this particular circuit, I'm going to replace this MOSFET with its T equivalent circuit. So once I do that, this is how my entire configuration looks. As you can see here, you can just compare the things over here, this previous circuit, and once I replace the MOSFET with its equivalent circuit, this is how it looks. As you can see, R sig, V sig are going to remain as it is, as can be seen over here. RD is also as it is, as can be seen here. RL is also remaining as it is. The only major difference that you can see is the MOSFET is being replaced by its T equivalent circuit as over here. Once I do this, now analyzing this circuit in terms of its input resistance, output voltage, input voltage, and currents will become much easier. Now here again, I am not going to consider R0, which will be a part, or which is basically a part of a MOSFET, that is finite output resistance in saturation region. So this R0 I am not going to consider whenever I replace the MOSFET with its equivalent circuit. For a simple reason, the same thing which we discussed in the common source amplifier with source resistance, whenever if I consider the R0, for example, if I consider here R0, remember R0 will be present between drain and source terminal. Now if I place R0 over here, this R0 will create a dependency of, or dependency on, drain and source terminal. In the sense, this R0 will connect the output terminal, which is my drain terminal, and the input terminal, which is my source terminal, thereby making my amplifier a unilateral amplifier configuration, which in turn will complicate the analysis. So to keep it very simple, what I am going to do, I am going to see that this R0 is not considered whenever I do the derivation. So let's try to figure out what is the input resistance of this entire amplifier configuration and what is the output resistance, and where is my input voltage being applied and what is its exact value, and how it is going to help us in figuring out the gain of the entire amplifier configuration. So to begin with, as I told, the input is applied to the source terminal. So when I apply any input voltage, that input voltage does come with a small internal resistance. So this entire voltage source along with the resistance is basically my voltage source. This R sig is the internal resistance of the whatever the voltage source that I have taken over here. So basically V sig is the input voltage and R sig is the small internal resistance or the input resistance of the voltage source. Now since I have replaced the MOSFET with the T equivalent circuit, as I can see, this 1 by GM is coming into picture over here, and at the output side there is a RD and RL being grounded from the drain terminal. Fine. So when I apply input voltage as V sig, what is the voltage that my common gate amplifier will consider as input? Now here, though I have applied V sig as input, but the question is, does my amplifier considers V sig itself as input voltage, or the input voltage will be different than that of V sig? So to understand about this particular concept, I need to be calculating what is that input voltage that is getting inside the MOSFET through the input terminal. Remember, in the previous circuit, the input terminal is that particular terminal where I apply the input voltage. So here is the input voltage that I have applied. Where did I apply the input voltage? I am applying between the source and ground. So I apply Vsig as input, but does Vsig enter as Vsig in the common gate amplifier configuration, or does it take some other value? So to deal with that, I need to be applying a simple voltage division rule formula here also. So in order to calculate voltage division form or voltage division rule, or in order to calculate what is the input voltage that gets into the common gate amplifier configuration, the first and foremost thing that I should be knowing is what is that input resistance that is seen through the input terminal. Now I told this source and ground, through this if I peek inside, whatever the resistance that I can see immediately, that will be named as my input resistance. Now if I can just look inside the input terminal, remember when I say input terminal, it is that terminal where you apply the input voltage. So to the source I have applied the input voltage, so definitely, or basically to between source and ground I have applied the input voltage, so definitely this will be my input terminal, or these two are my input terminal. So when I peek inside over here, I can sense or I can see 1 by Gm as my resistance. So the moment I see that, I can say that my input resistance is 1 by Gm or 1 over Gm for this particular common gate amplifier configuration. Now once I know what is the input resistance of this common gate amplifier configuration, I can easily calculate what is the voltage drop across the input resistance. So that voltage drop will be my input voltage. So how do I calculate the voltage drop across the input resistance? So basically the input resistance is 1 by Gm. So in order to calculate the voltage drop across 1 over Gm, I will be applying this voltage division rule across this particular resistance. So considering Vsig as the master voltage, Rsig and 1 by Gm as two resistances, I am going to calculate what is that voltage that comes to this particular 1 by Gm. So that's simple and straightforward. So Vi, that is voltage across the input resistance, is given by master voltage, that is Vsig, multiplied by 1 over Gm, this is the voltage that I am going to consider, whole divided by 1 by Gm plus Rsig. So this is what is my Vi. So I can clearly see here I applied Vsig, but what is that exactly entering into my amplifier? It is Vi. So definitely you can see over here Vi and Vsig are not same. Whether Vi is greater than Vsig or Vi is less than Vsig, we'll see down the line. But as of now, it is very clear that Vsig is different, that is the voltage that you apply to the entire circuit, and Vi is different, that the amplifier considers as its input voltage. So once I simplify this, so this will be my input voltage that is seen by my amplifier, so that is Vsig by 1 plus Gm by Rsig. So as of now we did two small derivations, that is figuring out what is input resistance and figuring out what is input voltage. And mind you, what Gm value, as we have seen from the small signal derivation, typically its value will be in terms of 1 milliampere per volt, and if I substitute that, my Rin will be almost equal to 1 kilo ohms. So that's what is my Rin value, which is, as compared to the all the configurations, the input resistance of this particular configuration is somewhat low. Now moving on, so let's consider the same configuration and let's try to figure out what is the output voltage. Now in order to find out output voltage, again I should be knowing across which particular resistance my voltage is output voltage. So my output voltage, I can see over here, the output voltage is taken across the load resistance, and along with the load resistance there is one more resistance, that is Rd. So these Rd and RL resistances are in parallel, which means this entire parallel combination of resistances will be acting as my output resistance, and whatever the current that is flowing across, or current that is flowing through these resistance, will be my output current. So basically my output current here is my Id, and the overall output resistance is the parallel combination of Rd and RL. So if I do the simple Ohm's law application, V is equal to I into R, so that will fetch me my output voltage equation or output voltage value. So that is V naught is equal to minus ID multiplied by RD parallel RL. Now the reason of considering why minus times ID, that's because the input current is flowing from source inside the amplifier, and the output current is flowing from drain towards source. So which means basically the drain current is exactly opposite in nature of the input current, and that's the reason I have considered it as minus ID, and that's the reason I'm going to substitute ID as minus II, because right now I just told you II and ID are opposite in nature, and I can replace this ID with minus II. And one more reason why this minus term, because the current is flowing from, the current direction is like this. So from ground to the drain terminal and from drain to the inside the MOSFET, and for that reason I'm going to consider this as a minus terminal, minus sign. And since ID is opposite in nature of II, so ID is equal to minus II. So if I substitute in the place of ID minus II, so my resultant will be V0 will be plus II multiplied by RD parallel RL. So that will be my equation number 2, and this will be my output voltage equation. And remember, what is that II value that we calculated? Did we calculate II? No, I guess. So II, let's calculate that II. So if I want to know what is II, that is the input current, again I'll be applying a simple current division formula over here. Can I do that? Yeah, if I want to apply, or if I want to calculate what is the input current, simply here you can see input. I think there is no need for applying current division formula rule also. The input current is that current which is flowing in the input terminal. So basically input current is generated because of this Vsig. So I can say that II is nothing but Vsig divided by the series combination of Rsig and 1 by Gm, because this input current is the same current that is flowing through Rsig and 1 by Gm. So that means a simple Ohm's law will also do this. So basically my input current is nothing but Vsig divided by Rsig plus 1 by Gm. So there it goes. So which means my II value is this. V0 is II times RD parallel RL, and if I substitute II here back in the equation number 2, my output voltage equation will be V0 is equal to Vsig divided by Rsig plus 1 by Gm multiplied by RD parallel R0. Sorry, RD parallel RL. So post simplification, this is what I'm going to get as the output voltage equation. So this is how I'm going to get the output voltage value from the input current and from the output current equations. Now finally, let's figure out what is the overall voltage gain, in the sense what is the voltage gain starting from Vsig till V0, that is V0 by Vsig. So we already have the value of V0, and I guess I know the value of Vsig also from the previous derivation over here. So I can extract Vsig value over here. If I extract Vsig over here, so Vi multiplied by 1 by Gm plus Rsig whole divided by 1 by Gm. So that will be my Vsig value. So basically my overall voltage gain is given by V0 by Vsig. So simply substitute V0 value and substitute Vsig value, and if I do the simplification, I'm going to get GV, that is overall voltage gain, that is the overall voltage gain of the entire amplifier circuit starting from the input signal to the output voltage, that will be plus Gm times RD parallel RL divided by 1 plus Gm times Rsig. So if I can closely compare this overall voltage gain of common gate amplifier configuration with respect to common source amplifier configuration, I can see that this denominator term, which was not present in the common source amplifier, is present over here, which means my overall voltage gain is reduced by a factor of 1 plus Gm times Rsig. So this is my overall voltage gain value of my common gate amplifier configuration. Now moving ahead further, now I have the input current given by Vi by Rin, which you can see over here. Input current II is given by Vi divided by Rin. So that makes my input current as Vi divided by, what is the value of Rin? It is 1 by Gm. So basically my II value will be Vi times Gm. So let's call this as equation number 4, and if I can substitute this equation number 4 in equation 2 here, so that will make my output voltage as, so Vi times Gm will come in the place of II over here, multiplied by Rd parallel RL. So basically my output voltage will be Vi times Gm multiplied by Rd parallel RL. And if I bring this Vi down over here, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get a simple voltage gain V0 by Vi, which is nothing but Gm times Rd parallel RL. Now you can clearly see here the voltage gain of the common gate amplifier has a positive sign in its entire equation, which makes this amplifier configuration as a non-inverting amplifier configuration. So this is my voltage gain of my common gate amplifier configuration, and if I want to calculate the open circuit voltage gain, then I will be ignoring this RL, and if I ignore this RL, whatever the term that is left out, that I'm going to call it as an open circuit voltage gain, which is AV0. So AV0 for my common gate amplifier will be Gm times Rd. Now few interpretations of what we did over here. So basically we try to figure out, or we try to find out what is output voltage, and from that what is overall voltage gain, and again from input current we calculated what is the output voltage, and or basically we try to express this output voltage in terms of voltage itself. Here as per the equation number 2, the output voltage is in terms of current and resistances. Now equation number using equation 4, I expressed my output voltage in terms of voltage and resistance, and if I do small simplification, I am going to get the voltage gain. So basically we try to figure out what is the voltage gain, what is the open circuit voltage gain, what is the overall voltage gain, and what is the output voltage, what is input resistance, all those things. Now few interpretations that I just want to throw light on what we did. Now here in the common gate amplifier configuration, we gave voltage as input, and what was the voltage we gave as input? We gave the voltage, the input voltage given was Vsig, and what was the input that common gate amplifier considered? It considered the input voltage as Vi. Now if I can just see Vsig, remember in the very beginning of this lecture we figured out Vi and Vsig both are different. This is the same equation that we did, that we took in the very beginning of the lecture. Vi is having Vsig divided by 1 plus Gm times Rsig, and Vsig is the master voltage that you apply at the input terminal of the entire common gate amplifier configuration circuit. Now if you can see over here, basically Gm times Rsig typically will be much greater than 1, and if this happens, what will be the entire value of this RHS? It will be Vsig divided by some particular finite value, and that will make Vsig much greater than Vi. So basically the input voltage that gets entered into the amplifier circuit is less than what is that is being applied to the entire circuit. So the input voltage that is considered by the amplifier is having less value as compared to the input voltage that is being applied to the entire circuit. Hence, if I do any sort of analysis by considering the input as voltage, then voltage loss is very high, because the input voltage that my amplifier is going to consider is somewhat less than what I have applied. I applied Vsig, but what is that I am getting? I am getting somewhat lesser than Vsig. So that is one interpretation that I can do over here. Now I'll just do one more interpretation. Now before that, let's have a quick glance of some more interpretations, small interpretations. Now remember, in the common source amplifier configuration, input was applied at the gate, which means the gate current itself was the input current. And what is the value of gate current in any amplifier configuration? In any amplifier configuration, the gate current value will be definitely 0, which means the input current is always considered as 0 in the common source amplifier or common source with RS, that particular configuration amplifier. So basically I applied the input voltage to the gate, and the current was generated at the gate, but that current will never ever enter the MOSFET because of the oxide. Hence I claim that the input current or the gate current is 0. So there is no kind of thing called as gate current or input current in the common source amplifier. Now what is happening in the common gate amplifier configuration? I am applying the input at the source, which means there will be a input voltage and there will be a input current that is generated because of the input voltage. And where is that input current is flowing? At the source terminal, and source terminal can pass the current through its terminal to the other terminal. So definitely I do have something called as input current that is present in the common gate amplifier configuration, which was not present in the common source amplifier. If input current kind of thing is present, then definitely output current will also be present. And if there is input current and output current is present, then which means I can calculate the current gain of that particular amplifier configuration, which makes the things look like this. In the common gate amplifier configuration, I can calculate the current gain, which means I can utilize the common gate amplifier as a current amplifier. So that's what I am going to calculate over here and figure out how it can be utilized as a current amplifier. Now you can see here the current gain of amplifier. How can I define the current gain of an amplifier? That is, AI is given by output current divided by input current. And what is the output current of amplifier? Output current of amplifier is ID, input current of amplifier is II. So that is my AI is equal to minus times ID by II. And we also know that ID is equal to minus of II. So replace ID with minus II. And if I replace that, these two terms will cancel out. And what is that I'm going to get? AI will be equal to 1. So what does that indicate? It indicates that the current gain of a common gate amplifier configuration is unity. Hence, I can call this particular configuration, that is common gate amplifier configuration, as a unity gain amplifier configuration. So that is one of the reason why I should be focusing more on the particular common gate amplifier configuration, because I can use it as a unity gain current amplifier. Now what is the current gain of the amplifier circuit? Again and again I am stressing out over here, when I talk about amplifier, which means I am talking only with respect to MOSFET. When I talk about amplifier circuit, I am talking about the entire circuit. That's the reason when I talked about amplifier, I took the output current, that is drain current, and the input current, that is II. When I will be talking about amplifier circuit, I'll be considering the entire output current of the amplifier circuit and the entire input current of the amplifier circuit. Now let's see how does it look. Now what is A in? Now let's try to bifurcate the terms. AI indicates the current gain of the amplifier, and A in indicates the current gain of the amplifier circuit. That is I out by II. And what is I out? I out is seen in the output resistance. And what is my output resistance here? That is the load resistance. So if I want to determine what is the current flowing in the load resistance, now I will be applying current divider rule through RL to determine what is the current that is flowing through the RL. It's simple. It is just exactly opposite to that of a voltage division formula. So I'll be figuring out the output current, that is I out. So I out is given by the master current that is flowing over here in this output terminal, that is I, multiplied by that resistance where I am not going to calculate the current, so that is RD, divided by RD plus RL. It is exactly opposite way. If whenever I am applying voltage division formula, I will be using that resistance in the numerator where my voltage is going to be figured out. When I am going to calculate the when I am going to use the current division formula, I am going to use that resistance in the numerator where right now I am not bothering about the current flow. So since I am dealing with the current, whatever that is flowing in the RL, so I will not be considering this RL in the numerator, rather I will be considering other resistance. So once I do this, so I'll calculate what is I naught. It will be this. Again, why this the minus sign over here, because the current is flowing in the opposite direction, that is from ground terminal to the drain and then over here. So if I do this, and finally I'm going to substitute what is I basically here. It is exactly the opposite of your II, both are in opposite in nature. So I is replaced with minus II. So I naught is written as I will be replaced with minus II, minus minus will become plus, and I naught will be equal to II times RD divided by RD plus RL. And if I bring this II over here, so that will give me my overall current gain I naught by II, so that will be RD times RD divided by RL. Now suppose if RD is much greater than RL, if suppose RD is much greater than RL, now that we have discussed the current gain of amplifier circuit, that is I naught by II, let's try to get some inputs with respect to certain conditions. Now if RD is much greater than RL, which means I can ignore this RL term, so that will make RD cancel out and make my I naught by II equal to again 1. So for the condition, for the condition RD much greater than RL, my current gain of amplifier circuit will also be equal to 1, that is admissible. But if my RD value is equal to RL, then if I substitute that, then my current gain of the amplifier circuit will be reduced to half of the original gain. So this condition should be noted down and it should be taken care while designing the common gate amplifier circuit. Now let's try to apply the current signal at the input side rather than the voltage signal. And when I do that, replacing the voltage signal with its Norton equivalent circuit, remember we did all these exercises by giving the input as the voltage signal. As you can see here, the input is given as the voltage with a series resistance. Now if I replace this voltage source with its equivalent current source, then I can write the I sig, and in the place of R sig I can write the parallel along with the voltage current source, I can write the parallel resistance, that will be the internal resistance of my current source. So if I do that, my configuration will look like this. Now let's try to figure out what will be the input current that is seen by the amplifier. Remember we discussed in the previous few slides, when I gave input as V sig to the circuit, but when the input entered as input voltage, this input voltage was less than V sig. So that's the reason where we summarize that input voltage, giving an input voltage will be a wrong choice, because it will be getting inside the amplifier with a reduced value. Now let's try to interpret the same thing by giving the input as a current. And if I give input as current I sig, what is that current that is entering into your MOSFET amplifier? So let's try to figure out that. So input current is the current that is flowing through the input resistance, which means input resistance here is 1 by Gm. So let's try to calculate II through R in, that is 1 by Gm. So if I calculate that, how can I calculate? I can calculate by using current division formula. So I sig, that is master current, multiplied by the other resistance divided by combination of these two resistance. So this being 1 by Gm is nothing but R in. So if I do that, again 1 by Gm, that is my R in is very small in terms of kilo ohms, it can be ignored. If I do that, R sig cancels out, and what is that is remaining? Input current II is nothing but, or it is approximately equal to I signal, that is the signal current that you are given at the amplifier circuit's input. So this is one interpretation that we can draw from this structure. If I give the input as current, then the current signal loss is small, but if I give the input as voltage, the voltage signal loss will be pretty much more. So that's come to the end of this particular common gate amplifier configuration, wherein we try to figure out how do I obtain the gain equations of the current common gate amplifier configuration, the input resistances, the overall gain, how it behaves as an unity gain current amplifier. So we did all these exercises. Now to summarize with few points, by comparing this designed common gate amplifier with the common source amplifier that we did in the previous lecture, we can conclude that the common source amplifier, which was my inverting amplifier, whereas common gate amplifier will be is a non-inverting amplifier. Common source amplifier has got an input resistance of Rg, which is in terms of mega ohm, whereas common gate amplifier has got an input resistance of 1 by Gm, which is in terms of kilo ohms, which means the input resistance of common gate amplifier is much smaller than the input resistance of the common source amplifier. Again, when I look into the voltage gain of the amplifier, I can sense that the amplifier, common source and common gate amplifier both have same voltage gain, but the overall voltage gain, that is total voltage gain of common source and common gain, are somewhat different. So these 4 points to be remembered whenever we compare the common gate and common source amplifier. So that summarizes this particular lecture. Now these are the few relevant questions that may be asked during the exams. So what are the different kind of questions that could be asked in the, or the possible question that could be asked in the examination? Now, so this is the problem which I have mentioned over here. So probably we'll try to solve this problem in, or this numerical, in the next lecture. And the textbook which I have mentioned or which I referred is Microelectronic Circuits, Adel Sedra and Kenneth Smith. So try to solve this problem, and we'll try to address the unsolved issues in the next lecture. Thank you for your patience listening.